afternoon. So today we have gathered here because when I was giving 5 days teaching in India Habitat Center in Delhi, and some of my friends, Sonal Samo and her group, requested that I give 2-3 days of teaching. So they've come all the way from there. Then we made the announcement and some of you are also joined. So I welcome you to this program. And I have really nothing special to teach. So I thought we'll read this book. It's a very special book composed by His Holiness Dalai Lama. The reason that I'll read this book is not because you don't know how to read, but because while reading, then we might come across some technical words. I will explain that. And then the second thing is, please come, occupy the front seat. Don't be a backbencher. Here also. Yeah, tujiche. Okay. Then wherever necessary, you will ask me questions, right? Then we'll leave some time for question and answer also. We have actually 2 sessions from 2:30 to 4, then 15 minutes break if you want to have a cup of tea somewhere there, go to bathroom, then come back, and then we'll continue until 5 or something, right? So, I'll read this. This is a very precious His Holiness book. And those of you who speak Hindi, this translation is also available in Hindi. Maybe interesting. So let us read. The need for religion in our present life. This is really what I wanted to say. Why we need religion? And for that matter, why we need Buddhism? One reason for the pursuit of religion is that material progress alone will not give lasting pleasure or satisfaction. His Holiness is not saying material progress is not needed. We all need progress. But material progress alone will not give lasting pleasure or satisfaction. Not even pleasure, forget about satisfaction. Because satisfaction is a state of mind. Unless your mind is contented and satisfied and happy, experiencing those pleasures are not going to give you long-lasting peace, happiness, and that is the one main reason why you need to do Dharma practice. And especially in today's world, we always say, I'm busy, right? Everybody's running hither and thither saying, I'm busy. Busy primarily means busy chasing the sensual objects, the material objects. Right? Yes, you have every freedom to run and chase, but the question is, are you really getting what you want? How much is how much? And then the worst thing in today's world is, I have been repeatedly saying that much of the problem that we see in the world today, be it major world wars and conflicts or family conflicts, these are all clear indication of starvation of human mind. I call it starvation of human mind. Because you give something to the body, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, in between also something, Kit Kat, something. But for the mind, what are we giving? I'm not saying you are not giving because I don't know who you are. You may be a great practitioner sitting there pretending that you don't know but know much better than me. That is also possible. But I'm judging you with my yardstick, right? So honestly speaking, you should ask this question to yourself: how much you are giving to your mind? Or in other words, how much effort you made to understand yourself and understand your mind. Because if you sit down and think carefully, you know a little bit about computer, a little bit about car, a little bit about this, that, the external things. You need to know a little bit. But about you, what do you know? Honestly speaking, you and your mind is the least known subject. Right? Because as soon as we say I, you or I, it's not your body, something else. It's invisible. When we say mind, invisible. Anything is not directly perceivable, we don't see, we have this tendency to ignore. This is a big problem. That's why we talk about meditation and things like that. Right? Right? So therefore, the purpose of Buddhism is first you get settled with yourself. First be happy with yourself. Then happy with your wife, husband, brother, sister. Because the person, the only person with whom you are going to spend the rest of your life is who? Yourself. Not your husband, not your wife, not your brother, sister. They may go to America, they may die, they may do this, that, But you have to, until you die, you have to live with yourself. So through Buddhist practice, you need to take care of yourself, you need to be kind to yourself, all those things. Once this is done, this is equal to taking care of others also. And based on my own limited experience, I've sensed that sometimes when I'm really, whatever be the reason, during the last few days, I don't know the reason, I was so happy, I feel a sense of great well-being, somehow because of the weather or whatever, When that well-being is there, your mind is also well, feel like talking nicely to other people, you can make others also happy. The food you take also, taste is better. So everything you have to start from yourself. Right? And in fact, all these countless human activities that we do are supposed to be for oneself. Right? But unfortunately, in reality, it is not the case. You may be running, and have no idea about yourself, no idea how to make yourself happy. So at the end of the day, despite all this endless running, you feel unsettled, unhappy. So if you're unhappy while you're alive, at the time of the death also you will not be happy. Right? So therefore this is a very important point His Holiness is making. Material progress alone will not give lasting pleasure or satisfaction. Because as I was saying, how much is how much? Kitna chahiye aapko? In terms of material accumulation, we all need material accumulation, but the question is how much is how much? How much you really need? If you're earning 10,000, you might say, I want 100,000, then 1 crore. But the person is same stomach, same mouth. You can't, if you are extremely rich, you can't eat more. In fact, it's the law of nature. The more you become rich, the more you eat less. In Tibet, we have a saying, he's now aristocrat, he can't eat. Chutsavatung, drink hot water. Because then you will say, I do this, I can't eat sweet, it will hurt me, I can't eat this, it will hurt me. You can't, it's law of nature. And look at those poor people who are like manually working. We have some in the library also. Most of the time they have no sense of what is good food, what is not good food. They don't have the means to buy the so-called good food. So mostly they end up eating rice and dal, rice and dal, rice and dal. They are fit. They are skinny and fit and carry things and all the time, For me, if I climb the stair 2-3 times, I get like tired, These people, I don't know how many times they go up and down carrying things, not just walking like that. So we are really pampered. We don't know the source of happiness. Now, yesterday I was reading. Then after a few years, 2030 something, not very long, not very far away, They say the artificial intelligence will take away all your work. Almost like 30-40% of the population will be unemployed. And those who will be able to continue their work is those people who do the manual work. So this is the situation. So therefore it is really, really important not to get obsessed. You need, of course you need, the more the better. It's okay if you are very rich, it's okay. But to think that this alone will solve my problem is wrong. Indeed, it seems, now listen, indeed it seems that the more we progress materially, the more we have to live under constant fear. Many people ask me this question, Geshe, these days I'm having some fear, how can I stop my fear? Fear comes because of attachment. There is a stanza which reads, Dāne chakba yong dāng chir chida layang kalanjik. Means I have totally given up all kinds of attachment, so I have no fear even if the Lord of the Death comes. Mark these words. Since I've given up attachment completely, I have no fear even if the Lord of Death comes. We fear death because you start thinking, oh, if I die, my body will go away. Meaning, you have attachment to your body. If no attachment, there's no fear. So the more material accumulation you do, the more you will have fear. You will fear my brand new television screen will break, my mobile, shiny mobile will break. What about my car? There are 100,000 things to worry about. So if you are some great practitioner like Milarewa, nothing to worry, no fear at all. He used to live in an empty cave, meditate in empty means empty, okay? Nothing there. For you and me, we won't believe that such people existed. But I've seen with my naked eyes followers of Milarepa practicing in Dalhousie. So Milarepa, when he was meditating, there was really nothing in his room. And one day in the mid of darkness, a thief came and groping in the darkness, hoping to steal something. Then Milarepa was meditating, he said, what do you hope to get in this pitch black darkness when I'm unable to see anything in the broad daylight? He really has nothing. So when I was a student in the Central Tibetan school in Dalhousie, I had the privilege of meeting some meditators there, 5-6 meditators, who were the disciple of the famous meditator Tihor Kyorpun Rinpoche, a very famous teacher who, when Chinese came, he left Tibet and ran away, and then he ended up staying in Dalhousie with some other monks. So he is nicknamed as the modern Milarepa. He was a great scholar, and when he was about to do his Geshe examination, he ran away. He said, I don't need title, I don't need recognition, I don't need degree. He ran away. So he spent his last days in Dalhousie. So at that time, when I was studying in the school, one of my teachers, who is still alive, now in his 90s, and the topmost person of the Depot monastery is still alive. So he asked me to come with him to see these meditators. There were 5-6 of them. There was one nun. The rest are all, male. They had nothing. I've seen, I regret that I had not taken photo. I have no camera, nothing at that time, I have seen it. Nothing. Piled stones with a canvas roof, and then a worn-out cloth, sit there. And then the neighbors, others, they bring some lunch, ready-made lunch. They'll eat it. If it is uncooked, it will rot there. And there was an English lady, she wanted to give them some money, 100 rupees was a lot at that time. Except one, everybody refused. What I am to do with this money if I'm going to die tonight? No, I don't need this. I've seen with my eye. So we will not be able to do that. I know that very well. I am not able to do that. You will not be able to do that. Because there is an example of a person who was living at the time of Milarepa. So he was very attracted by Milarepa's way of life, having renounced everything. So he said, oh, he's a really great practitioner. I will also do like him. So he started throwing away all his belongings. So overnight he became beggar. But then he was not, determined and not ready like Milarepa. So after one day or so, he was short of all those facilities which he used to enjoy. Then he regretted what he did, and he said, this Milarepa fellow, not only he is a beggar, he also made me a beggar. So in our case, there's the likelihood of becoming like that. So I'm not saying. So for us, we should follow His Holiness the Dalai Lama's advice, who says 50-50. 50% for this life, 50% for future life, 50% for yourself, 50% for others. Not just for yourself all the time. Right? So we need material facilities, but don't get obsessed, don't pamper yourself. Share a little bit with those who are less privileged, things like that. Okay, so that's what he's saying. Indeed, it seems that the more we progress materially, the more we have to live under constant fear. Now, all the fightings that is taking place right now in the Middle East, Ukraine and Russia, these are all for oil or wealth. So for this, they have to fight, kill each other. And then, of course, there is a fear that I will be bombarded, I will be killed tomorrow, things like that. So that's the thing. When you have this attachment, one teacher, he clearly says that when you have this attachment and strong grasping to yourself, even if there is a rat moving in your room, the squeaking, right? Squeaking, what is the sound of the rat? Squeaking. So when you hear the squeak of a rat, the first thing comes is, oh, the rat might chop off my ear. When you hear a lightning, then you start thinking, oh, the lightning will, of all people, the lightning will fall on my head. Which is not true, but this is because of fear and self-grasping and attachment. So you get all these problems, right? Scientific technology has made marvelous advances and no doubt will continue to develop. Now up to artificial intelligence already. People may reach the moon and try to exploit her resources for the advantage of human beings. The moon, which some ancient believers regarded as the home of their god, and planets may also be conquered. So he's only saying that we have made a lot of scientific progress. The progress will continue. We may be able to reach even on the moon and use the resources there for our well-being. And this is big progress, because he is saying that at one time people used to, count moon as a god. So now, because of technical expertise, we may be able to reach there. But what is the fun when you don't know how to live on this earth? Why the hell you want to go to another planet? We're crazy, really crazy. And this endless craziness comes because we misuse our human intelligence in the wrong way. So another important purpose of this study is, that this Buddhist practice and study is, that you use your mind, intelligence or brain in the right way. Right way means this amazing brain, amazing intelligence, this should be used in developing love, in developing compassion, in developing wisdom to help others, to help yourself, so that your short journey and short life on this planet really becomes meaningful. That's the purpose. But unfortunately, we use this human intelligence in the wrong way, for just making money just for yourself, doing things just for yourself, don't care what is happening around, don't care about the environmental pollution, things like that, right? And to make a long story short, this planet on which we are living, today we find that it's highly, highly polluted. Water is polluted, air is polluted, natural resources are dwindling. Who created all this? Tigers? Lions? Snakes? It is created by the so-called intelligent human beings because of greed, because of short-sightedness. So much so that sometimes we really, it looks like we are, all committing a global suicide. Global suicide. Intentional suicide. Some of the so-called leaders, if you watch the statement they are making, they are really going towards committing a global suicide. So that's the craziness. So therefore we should use this human intelligence and brain, whatever you call it. And this intelligence, this brain is really amazing thing. It has so much capacity. It has the capacity to become Buddha. If you know how to nurture and cherish and cultivate these inner resources, more or less everything is yours. It's really like a treasure house there, but you don't bother to open the treasure house and take the gems out of it. We are only going out. Gems will come from there, gold will come from there, silver will come from there. That's the problem. Oneself is the least understood of anything that is there in the world, right? People may reach the moon and try to exploit her resources for the advantage of human beings. The moon, which some ancient believers regarded as the home of their God, even there we may reach. And we may reach other planets, may also be conquered. Perhaps in the end, this progress will reveal potential enemies outside our world. See? Says if you're mentally wrong, wherever you go, you will become a troublemaker in that place. You will be a troublemaker on the earth, then you go to the moon, you will create problem from there. Right? So wherever you go, if your way of thinking, if your way of behaving, if that is not right, you will keep on complaining everything. Oh, the water is not good, or the air is not good, or the other persons are not good, And in your marriage also, then first you have this, marriage, then after a short while divorce, then you'll start saying, oh, this is not my mistake, the wife's mistake, husband's mistake. My next marriage will be successful. I'll get a good husband, good wife. And then you get one, it's the same, because you're the same person. Then again you complain that person. The husband is not good, wife is not good, it's not my mistake. Okay, the third one will be perfect. This is what we do with people, this is what we do with the furnitures. You see? So unless you understand your mind and pull out the inner resources, you cannot be happy. You can enjoy little bit pleasures here, fleeting, unreliable pleasures here and there for sure. But we are talking about reliable, long-lasting happiness. So this is the one thing that you need to ask. And I have been asking this question to everywhere when I give a talk. Do you want happiness? Everybody says, yes, sir. I ask this question because in our normal busy life, it doesn't look like the way people behave, doesn't look like they want happiness. So therefore I ask them, do you want happiness? So here also I'm asking, are you happy? Do you want happiness? Yes? For how many days? Huh? For life. Some people will say many lives to come. Or at least we'll say long-lasting happiness, right? So when you sit down and think, then you know I want happiness, and I want happiness as long as possible. This is not how we think, this is not how we act in our daily life. In our daily life, we live and act as if we don't want happiness. In Tibetan, we call it the way you think and the way you do becomes opposite. So therefore, you need to ask this question, I want happiness. I want happiness as long as possible. But then it's not enough. When you say want, it is want is want. I want happiness. I want long-lasting happiness. This is a kind of slogan. But just by saying I want happiness, happiness will not come. So if you want long-lasting happiness, from where do you think it will come? Huh? Huh?
Again, part in that Tibetan, if you want something,
Yeah.
it will become a
What?
sentence. Please pardon that sentence, that Tibetan saying, if you want something.
Hindu tang laglen chinjilone. Hindu tang laglen chinjilone. Yeah. Hindu tang, what you desire and what you practice becomes opposite. Therefore, you don't achieve anything. You want happiness. You want long-lasting happiness. But the way you live doesn't look like you want happiness. Doesn't look like you want long-lasting happiness. So therefore, as I was saying, it's not enough to say that I want happiness, I want long-lasting happiness. You need, if you really think you want long-lasting happiness, you need to ask the question, what is the main source of that long-lasting happiness? Yeah. What is the main source of that long-lasting happiness? What is that? The main cause, the main source for long-lasting happiness?
Your perspective.
Huh?
Your perspective.
Your perspective, okay. Your own thinking. Then? Your attitude. Huh? Thinking itself. So anyway, you can give all kind of questions, all kind of answers to this, right? But to make it more clear, the main source of long-lasting happiness is your mind. It's not outside. It's not money, not relatives, nothing. Main source. A little bit happiness from others also come, right? I'm saying main cause and source of long-lasting happiness is your mind. And when I say your mind, again, this is, as I mentioned earlier, another neglected area. We have no idea what is mind. You have a mind? Are you sure you have a mind? Huh? Have you seen your mind? Huh? Have you seen your mind? Who has seen the mind? My Israeli friends must have seen the mind. Have you seen the mind? Anybody? So, again, it becomes very vague. Mind is non-physical, colorless, shapeless, but it's very powerful energy. It's the one that decides your life, your fate, what you should do, what you should not do. So therefore, we are saying your mind is the most important thing. Your body is the slave of your mind, servant of your mind. And we are taking so much care about the servant, not the boss. For the servant, for the body, you give nice clothes, you use some cosmetics also, right? And also some delicious food, things like that. For the mind, as I already asked, told, what do you give to your mind? And what are you going to give to your mind? Now when I say things like that, you might say, oh, he's just talking, He's not so different from us. He also has to eat. He also has to wear clothes, nice clothes indeed. Right? It's just for talking. You might think like that. You might think that, okay, he's just talking, the mind may be there, but it's not so important. It's not the boss. Shall I prove that it is the boss? The one example that I give you, which everybody will understand, for example, marriage. When you marry somebody, out of your choice, you call it love marriage, whatever you want to call it. When you marry somebody, what do? What is your attitude? What is your thinking? You start thinking, okay, I got the right person, the right man, right woman. He's very handsome, he's very beautiful. You're very satisfied, right? So you thought this is the most handsome person. This is the most beautiful woman. Right? To you. It is not necessary that the person you thought most handsome, most beautiful, will it be like that to other person also? Everybody thinks, oh, this is the most beautiful woman. Nahi, na? It doesn't have to be like that. For you, it does the work, which means it's your perspective. Similarly with food also, you like one, this food, another like this food. You say, this is delicious, another say, oh, not so tasty. It's your perspective, how you see things. So your perspective means what your mind sees, what your mind dictates. So you need to train your mind in such a way. For example, in the case of Buddha, it said that for Buddha there is no food called tasty or not tasty. Equal taste of happiness and suffering. Right? When you have the right perspective, nothing will bother you. You know that it is my way of seeing things. Right? So therefore, your mind is... And then also, honestly speaking, other people, other situations, despite your wanting, you have no control. At this particular moment, I'm supposed to be teaching, so you may have some little bit maybe, regard for me. But if I try to control you, I'll not be able to control any one of you. Control, not just suggesting and helping, just try to control, Because you are outside of me. You are not me. When I see a tree, I don't like this tree. I said, oh, I don't want this tree to be straight, not like this. Will the tree change? Oh, Geshe, you don't like me, so I'll become straight. Oh, Geshe, you thought I'm not so beautiful, I'll become beautiful. Aisa nahi hota hai na? It doesn't become like that. I can't change. So it's better that you accept what is there, rather than trying to mold and change according to your wish. So the point that I'm making is, for example, places like Delhi now it's very hot. So if you curse the sun, damn sun, this sun is so hot, and you get angry and curse, will the heat change? No. So instead of doing that, you control yourself. Use umbrella. If not needed, don't move into the sun, Those things you can do. So therefore, the Buddha is basically saying, do those things which is under your control. Do those things which you can bring about some transformation, some change, which we can. So that's another good news. If we make an attempt, we can change, we can become better. That's 100% sure. That's why I talk about becoming Buddha. Right now when I say become a Buddha, Buddha is somebody who knows everything. He's omniscient. It's not easy for us to accept that, right? Right? But when you start seeing, okay, slowly by learning something, you can always make some progress, then you can believe, yes, I couldn't read ABCD, now I can read ABCD. I was in BA, now I am in MA. I was in MA last year, now I did my PhD. That shows that you slowly, if you make an attempt, you can make almost like limitless progress. Right? So those of you who didn't get the book, please take one. Raise your hand. Dene. Everybody should get one. This is my gift to you. So cherish it. This is highly, highly blessed by me. I'm joking. All right. So, perhaps in the end, this progress will reveal potential enemies outside our world. But in any case, it cannot possibly bring ultimate and permanent pleasure to human beings. For material progress always stimulates desire for even further progress, So that such pleasure as it brings is only ephemeral. It's like drinking salty water. The more you drink, the more you become thirsty. If you had never tasted chocolate, you may have no desire to taste chocolate. But if you once tasted chocolate, wow, this is black chocolate, so nice. Where can I get it? This is an example, right? So therefore, that is what His Holiness is saying. Perhaps in the end, this progress will, but in any case, it cannot possibly bring ultimate and permanent pleasure. Hai na? Any material progress, even if you become Elon Musk or somebody, I don't think he's settled. He's having a lot of problems these days. He's said to be the richest person. No, now he's unfortunately he's coming down. Right? Very, very easy. It cannot possibly bring ultimate and permanent pleasure. Instead, bring more suffering to human beings. Because material progress always stimulates desire. Salty water, as I said. For even further progress, I want more. If you have one swimming pool, I want two. If you have one car, I need another car for my children. Endless. So that such pleasure as it brings is, number one, no end to satisfaction. Number two, it's only ephemeral. Ephemeral means short-lived, temporary. For example, if you are, say, today, if your age is, say, 40, now if you look back and think about all those things that you enjoyed in the last 40 years, what is there now? Isn't it only a memory? So the dream that you get last night and the 40 years of life's experience, today if you compare these two, it's just a memory, ephemeral. But the good things that you've done for others, it becomes more long-lasting. Therefore, this is one reason why you should do more for others than just for yourself. Right? But on the other hand, when the mind enjoys pleasure and satisfaction, mere material hardships are easy to bear, and if a pleasure is derived purely from the mind itself, it will be a real and lasting pleasure. Right? But on the other hand, when the mind enjoys pleasure, mind, not the physical, sensual, but the mind enjoys the pleasure and satisfaction, even if it is tasting chocolate or whatever, you're completely into it. Wow, it's so sweet. Nowadays we are not able to do this because we are doing many things together. While eating also you're doing so many other things together. You are not concentrating, so you can't enjoy it. But if you really mentally enjoy whatever pleasure, be it tasting a chocolate, be it watching a beautiful scene, if you're into it, you will enjoy. If your mind is into it, just like the small kids, in the evening if you come around here, we'll have many kids playing here. They are completely into their play. It may be a broken cycle, it may be a broken toy. They are completely into it. They enjoy. When we are grown up, we are not happy with everything. Ye kya hai? What is this? Oh, this mobile phone is not so good. This one is better. Not satisfied with everything, anything. That's the problem. Enjoy. Live the moment, as we say. That's what he's saying. And if a pleasure is derived purely from the mind itself, it will be a real lasting pleasure. For example, this particular gathering, if you mentally enjoy this, you will remember this for many, many years to come. Meaning that you have really, you are really in the present and you really enjoyed it, and you will recall the discussions that we have, everything you'll recall. But if you're not enjoying, you'll forget. Completely forget. Forgetting means you have not enjoyed it. The last picnic you had, the last visit to the sea beach, you remember because you enjoyed it. Teachings you will not remember because you are sitting there, maybe not enjoying much. So you need to learn. So therefore, when you do spiritual practice, dharma practice, the first thing that you need to do is enjoy it. Be happy with that. And why should you be happy? You should be happy because you are seeking happiness in peace. You are getting peace here. You are happy here. Nobody forced you to come here with the gunpoint. You came by yourself, so you should be happy. Right? And when you're happy, you have no idea how the time flies. Not just 1 hour, 2 hours, but even days it goes like this. When you're not happy, even 2 seconds is long. That is because of the state of your mind. So therefore, enjoy. No other pleasure can be compared with that derived from spiritual practice. Spiritual, now not just mind, but you go a little bit deeper, go into the spirit of the mind. We don't use the word dharma here. Dharma is okay, but we don't use the word religion here. Or something, when we say religion, then which religion? But here we are just talking about your mental spiritual practice. Right? Something that is there with you. This is the greatest pleasure, and it is ultimate in nature. Different religions have each shown their way to attain it. A second reason for the pursuit of religion is that we depend on religion even for the enjoyment of an appreciable amount of material pleasure. So that means even if you want to, get some enjoyment of the material progress, there also your mind should be there. For example, some element of spiritual practice should be there means, for example, if you get a food, nice food, maybe you pay money or not pay money, but if you get a nice lunch, then from the religious point of view, spiritual point of view, you should think, this food doesn't come like that. It may be a result of my past life's karma. It may be due to the kindness of those people who are giving or providing this. With this kind of spiritual, religious understanding, you feel so happy. Then the food is more tasty. But if you take it for granted, I have given money. So, and then you start complaining, I have given money, but what is this? This is so sour, this is so sweet. Keep on complaining. You have already given money. They will not refund. And you will also not be able to taste it. It's your personal loss. Pleasure and pain, in a general sense, do not arise only from external factors, but from internal factors as well. His Holiness is not saying external factors have nothing to do. He is saying not only from external factors. External factors contribute, but it's primarily from the internal factors. In the absence of internal response, no amount of external stimulation can affect pleasure or pain. Like people who are, for example, if you're somebody who does not enjoy football at all, then let us say there is a group of people who is dying to play football. You see the two reactions. For those who have no taste of football, even if you ask them, please come, let us go, he says, why should I go there? The stupid people just kicking this ball up and down, what is there? That will not stimulate that person. But then those people who have this different taste and great liking of playing football, then they almost die, Wow, it's so good. Ronaldo is so good. And then what was the other famous name? I was watching yesterday. Things like that, you see. So Messi, good. Messi and Ronaldo, yeah. So like that, you see. So it's up to you. How much you want your mind addicted, distracted. Because if you let your mind addicted to so many different things, you will become a slave to that. You'll become a slave. You thought that I am enjoying this and that, but gradually you get addicted, you'll become slave to that. And then you will while away your whole life doing this small thing, that thing, getting addicted to it, of no essence, no result, no benefit to oneself, no benefit to others. Redwa? The internal factors are the after effects of impressions left on our minds by past actions. As soon as they come into contact with external factors, we experience pleasure or pain again. Now these internal factors of the mind are also a result of past lives' imprints. Now imprints here means impressions. The imprint means if you are in the past life, your mind is very, very habituated with playing football, so this life also you will become a football fan. So similarly, right now also, if you get addicted to something else, then in the future life also, as soon as you hear something like that, you will get activated. Imprints. So therefore, in Buddhism we talk about the need to do meditation. Meditation means doing the good things repeatedly again and again. That will leave the imprint. That will become a habit, and that will produce positive result. That's the meaning. That's what His Holiness is saying. These internal factors are the after effects of impressions left. Impressions is a difficult word, imprint also a difficult word, but I prefer using word habit. After effects or habits left on our mind by past actions. You got habituated with that, then you follow that habit. As soon as they come into contact, so you have that habit, and then that habit comes into contact with some external situation and factor, it gets activated. Then we experience either pleasure or pain. For example, if I record few things here. First, I'll record a song, a very beautiful song. Then I'll record two people fighting, shouting at each other at the top of their voice. I recorded it. Okay. Now, after having recorded it, if I try to see it, can I see it? Can I see what I have recorded here with my eye? Huh? No. Your eyes not being able to see that doesn't mean it is not there, because it's already recorded now. Impression is left there. How do you know? Push the play button. When you push the play button, then you will hear whatever you have recorded. If you play the song, you will enjoy. You will be happy. If you play the shouting and fighting and crying, you will hear that and you will become unhappy. It's like that. So every day we are recording something. We are meaning we are getting habituated to something. So that impression, that imprint, that habit that you form here will not go away like that. It is there in a dormant state, and next time when an external situation, activating force comes into contact, you will start experiencing pain or pleasure depending upon whatever you have, whatever impression you have left earlier. Right? So what kind of impression now you want to leave on your mind? Because you want happiness, because you want long-lasting peace and happiness, you need to do meditation, you need to get habituated with the positive ways of thinking, compassion, love. When you do that, gradually you will become a compassionate person. You will become a compassionate person, and you will be able to express compassion automatically because you are habituated in that. It's learning a new job, carpentry or something like that. In the beginning, it's so difficult. You don't know how to hold the chisel, hold the hammer, but gradually you become so expert that you can easily do that, and you become a great carpenter. So it's all question of practice. Practice makes man perfect. That's what we say. So practice, 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 practice. Yes?
If we have the impressions from the childhood, from times that we didn't make the impressions, like we remember things, things are saved in our mind. If we have impressions that it's from a long time ago, from the childhood, that we are not the responsible for these impressions. So can you practice these impressions too? To forget them, to heal them, it's like much more harder job, I think.
Harder job, yes, because the imprint is already there.
Yeah. So can you delete it or heal that?
It's not like what you have saved on the pen drive, delete and then go away. Not like that. but you can reduce it, because the more you get habituated with the positive things, the less there will be opportunity for the negative impacts to express it, right?
By meditation?
Huh?
By meditation?
Yeah, by meditation, which means getting habituated with the good things, right? That's possible, yes. Okay, what is time? Huh? Sumda Kamani Stabdi. Okay, time for question answer maybe. Okay, I'll read this paragraph, then we time for question answer. As soon as external stimulation occurs, the mind suffers the consequences of its past actions. Thus, if we suffer, our miseries have their remote causes in the past. All pleasure and pain have their mental origins, and religions are required because without them the mind cannot be controlled. So that's what he's saying here also, If you use some of these spiritual techniques, then you can lessen those bad habits and strengthen the positive habits. If you don't use it, they will not go away like that. Okay? Yeah, now question, answers. Any questions? No question? You know everything? Yeah.
Except of meditation.
Huh?
What else you can accept of meditation? What else you can recommend? Just like to start from, for the.
Yeah, you make a plan not to plant fresh negative seeds, negative deeds, and the virtuous practices which you have not generated should generate more. Virtuous practices which you have generated, strengthen them. Non-virtuous practice which you have not generated, don't generate them. If you generated some, reduce them. That's the process. Okay? Yeah? Shall we continue then reading a little bit more? Yeah, okay.
You mentioned that the mind is like a non-physical, colorless energy.
Yes.
So if it is energy, then how does it decide for us? Like we have hands, legs, and physical body, then how does the energy decide?
It is energy, but it has this, because the mind is defined as something that is luminous and cognitive. That is the definition of mind. Mind is something that is luminous and cognitive. Luminous means just like a mirror. Whatever comes within the purview of the mirror, it is reflected. If it is luminous, if it is clean, but if it is defiled and a lot of dust covering, then it can't reflect. So similarly, the mind, when it is not covered, with defilement, things like that, it is able to reflect things clearly. Then unlike the mirror can only reflect what comes within its purview, but it doesn't have this capacity to plan and think and cognize what is there. But the mind has that capacity, that intentionality, to do, not to do, that capacity is there. That is its unique feature, right? So therefore, it's not just the energy and electricity, it's not like that. It has the capacity to take responsibility, plan, imagine, things like that. Yeah. Yeah.
When you say that the Buddha was at a place where he did not care about whether the food he ate was delicious or not delicious, that was irrelevant to him.
So similarly, this gathering also, right? So that at the same time, this does not mean that your fate is decided. You can. We never say that you can't make choices. You can make choices, but that also doesn't mean you can make 100% selection or choice. You think you are doing that, but still there is a lot of karmic influence also. Right?
I'll ask my question in English so that everybody understands. Whenever there were times when my friends or colleagues who are non-Tibetan asked me if I'm a Buddhist, and I always had this apprehension to call myself a Buddhist, because if they drill down with more questions about, the specifications of Buddhist practice, I don't know. So I always say that I'm born in a Buddhist family, and now you see we have a lot more, new Buddhist practitioner, and then like person like me who are born in a Buddhist family, we have been doing all the Buddhist, rituals, practicing whatever little compassion that we could. How Buddhist do you think that we are without knowing the scriptures, and how Buddhist?
Very true, very true. Not only you and me, but this reminded me a story of a very senior teacher scolding the Sangha monks in the gathering. And he said, I see some very senior monks sitting in the front line not being a Buddhist. That is possible. It's not just changing the clothes, it's a change of attitude. And that takes time. So loosely speaking, we defined who is a Buddhist. A Buddhist is somebody who takes refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Buddhist is somebody who takes refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. That is easy, right? Looks easy. But then, in order to take refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, you need to first of all know who is Buddha, who is Dharma, who is Sangha. Why should you take refuge in them? How can they protect you? So you need to have a whole lot of understanding and study, and then some conviction that this fellow will protect me. At least this is the right path. So that's why the process of becoming a Buddhist is not like baptizing, You throw I take refuge to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. We are not saying that I take refuge to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha because I'm hungry or thirsty or I'm looking for my boyfriend, girlfriend, not like that. But you take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha because there is a big problem. So you need to know what is that big problem. The big problem is I'm in the samsara. I'm in the samsara. I'm conditioned and controlled by negative emotions, afflictive emotions. I'm getting angry. I'm developing attachment. This is creating a lot of, ending process. So I really want to take refuge and find the Dharma to go away from these samsaric things like that. So you have to have this really little bit deeper understanding of the devastating impacts of negative emotions, contaminated actions, and the unreliability of relationships, friends, and then everything in the samsara. So this is not saying run away from the samsara, but it is saying that, it is basically saying be realistic. Be realistic. For example, if you know poison properly, that if you take it, it will kill you, will you take poison? You won't take. Why? Because you know very well that it will kill me. These are the after effects of using poison, things like so you don't take. Now negative emotions, in Buddhism we say 3 negative emotions, 3 poisons: attachment, hatred, ignorance. It is termed as poisons. But we repeatedly engage in these things because just for the sake of saying we say it is poison, but deep down we don't have the conviction that these are poisons. So the more you study, the more you understand the destructiveness of certain things, you will distance yourself from that. The more you study, the more you understand the constructiveness or usefulness of something, you will come closer to that. So therefore study is very, very important. It's like making friendship. If you meet somebody who really looks nice on the first day or first meeting, then you spend some time with that person, then gradually the person turns out to be unreliable, bad, then naturally you will distance from that person. There may be another person, with whom on the first meeting that person doesn't look very friendly, not so nice. But when you spend a little bit more time, you found this person is really very reliable. Then you become more closer to that person. Exactly like that. So you should know why anger is bad, why jealousy is bad, why hatred is bad, why ignorance is bad. Through study, when you repeatedly study, so that means listen to the teaching. Then more importantly, contemplate. Not just thinking, contemplate, think a little bit deeper. Then meditate means make it part of your life. Then you will have the good ones, you will be able to distance from the bad ones. So that needs constant practice. It will not, even if you study a little bit, it will help you, but you will not have the good ones and you will not be able to get rid of the bad ones easily unless you make repeated practice. Even in the case of physical exercise, if you want to achieve certain feat, yogic feat or something, unless you do repeatedly, you won't achieve it. Right? When you constantly do it, you achieve it. So this is true of the internal, mental developments also. Especially in the case of internal mental development, unless you pay some attention, you will not pay attention to it because it is not visible. And the good thing is, the more you spend time with your mind, the more you will be relaxed, the more you will be happy, the less you need anything. Because you are happy. If you are happy, what is it that you want? So therefore, I repeatedly say the problem of the modern age and the problem that has been there a long time back is people do not know how to live with themselves and also don't know how to live with others. You should be good with at least with one of these two things. Either you should know how to live alone. Buddha lived alone, left his parents, family, wife, beautiful son, everything behind. Not because he hated them, because he was able to clearly see that the way we are living together and spending life is not best for me, best for them, not good for me, not good for them. So therefore I will search, go find out what is really good for me, for everybody. Then I'll come back and help all of you. That was his mission. And in fact, at that time in India, it is said that the small kind of local villages, they are like becoming a little bit bigger, developing a little bit. And then there were other like small urbans and others who developed much faster. The ruler of that particular area became more powerful. Then he captures another area, becomes more bigger. So those when a place becomes bigger and starts becoming a town or a city, then on the one hand it looks like it's a developed country, developed place, but on the other hand all the bad things happen there. Killing, raping, stealing, everything happens there. So Buddha at his time, not only Buddha, many of the sadhus living at that time, they saw, Hindi mein bolta hai na, kya ho raha hai yahan? Kya ho raha? What is happening now? Let us go out and search the solution. They're not just running away from life. They want to find the solution. And when the Buddha found the solution, he came back to see his father. Things like that. So therefore, the kind of help that we are providing today is temporary, not long-lasting benefit. Right? Okay? Like always. Okay, yeah? Any questions? Any more questions? Yeah.
Hi. What's the thing says about the existence of evil and evilness?
Huh?
Of evil and evilness.
Oh.
Is it exist?
Yeah, of course.
Where?
In your mind.
Mm-hmm.
When it is in your mind, it is in the town, it is in the city, it is in the country. So right now there are so many evil things happening in the world. right? All this killing, fighting, this because of evil mind, short-sightedness. So as I was saying, both the good and the bad, the potential for good and bad are both within you. And you already have, bad, negative mind and also positive, good mind. So because the negative minds, the negative emotions are the troublemakers, therefore lessen them, reduce them, and gradually, completely eradicate them. The positive emotions are necessary, therefore strengthen them, cultivate them, nurture them, and make it part of your life. That's what we are saying.
So if somebody is enlightened, so there is no evil around him?
No, people will be there, but he is enlightened. Not everybody together. So he may be surrounded by many bad people. That was true in the case of Buddha also. There were many bad people. So when he see all these people doing bad things, negative things, he developed a lot of compassion, a lot of love, and then find a way to help them. That's important. Because therefore in Buddhism we make a distinction between the wrongdoer and the wrongdoing. Wrongdoing must be criticized. Wrongdoer, still person, still individual. Give him opportunity to become better. You should tell them what you did is wrong, but as a person, you can become better. As a person, I'm not saying you are bad. So you should continue to, remain in the mainstream of the society. Don't ostracize that person. That is the process. Right? But in my own case also, the problem with the people is when other people, do something bad, they don't make this distinction. They say, oh, he's a very bad person. But when you make a mistake, then you make distinction. Oh, I don't want to do that, but I slipped, As a person, I'm good. So that is wrong. Okay? Okay, then we have a short break. You enjoy, have tea, whatever. Then come back at what? Correct. Come. 4:15 come back. Yeah, you have almost 25 minutes, half an hour.